You'd think by now we've heard every story about Meghan Markle. But what if I told you this one changes everything? Because just when the world thought her Paris Fashion Week debut was Meghan's big return to the spotlight, a shocking interview dropped. And what it revealed about who really paid for that trip turned her fairy tale upside down. We're not talking rumors this time. We're talking receipts, regret, and a royal fury so loud, it almost shook the palace walls. Paris was supposed to be Meghan's grand moment, her comeback. The event that would remind the world she's not just the Duchess who left the palace, but the woman who could still own any red carpet she walked on. But behind that flawless smile and designer gown, the story didn't quite add up. Because according to people close to Balenciaga, things weren't as glamorous as they seemed. There was no official invitation, none. Insiders claim Meghan didn't get called. She called them. Apparently, she'd been messaging Balenciaga's creative director, Pierre Pau, for years. At first, it was friendly. A few compliments here and there, casual talk about fashion. But then, right before Fashion Week, Meghan made her move. She reportedly said, "I'll be in Paris. Would love to stop by the show." Sounds harmless, right? Except that "stop by" turned into her walking the red carpet like an honored guest. Balenciaga's team was stunned. Event planners scrambled to make room for her. Photographers were tipped off, and suddenly, Meghan Markle was front and center. In Paris, at her own request. No invitation, no official deal, no brand sponsorship. Just Meghan, showing up, camera ready, determined to reclaim her image. And if that sounds familiar, well, that's because it is. Now, showing up uninvited is bold enough, but flying halfway across the world to do it? That's costly. And here's where things start to unravel. While Meghan's team wanted the world to think she paid for the trip herself, insiders claim that wasn't exactly true. Behind the scenes, money from the Archewell Foundation, and even funds linked to the Invictus Games, may have quietly covered parts of the bill. Yes, you heard that right. Charity money. Funds meant for veterans, community projects, and outreach, allegedly used for first-class flights, luxury suites, and designer prep. And when Prince Harry found out, he was furious. This wasn't a royal duty or a family trip. It was, as one insider put it, a self-made PR mission disguised as philanthropy. Sources say Meghan flew first class with her longtime friend and fixer, Marcus Anderson, while her team flew coach. The optics weren't great. She arrived in Paris looking every inch the Duchess, but behind the scenes, the illusion was starting to crack. Her glam squad worked overtime. Her PR team crafted careful statements to make it sound like an official partnership. And Meghan? She sold the fantasy flawlessly. But this time, the spotlight she fought for came with a cost she couldn't control. As soon as the photos hit social media, headlines exploded. Meghan Markle stuns at Balenciaga. The Duchess returns to global fashion. But look closer and you'll see how carefully it was worded. Her official statement never actually said she was invited. Instead, it used poetic phrasing like, "She has long admired his craftsmanship and friendship." Sounds elegant, right? But that's the trick. It implies collaboration without ever claiming it. That wording was no accident. Meghan's PR team wanted the glory, without the proof. And the media, desperate for clicks, played along. They crowned her Balenciaga's star guest, even though the brand itself never said a word. When the truth leaked, that she'd paid her own way and hadn't been invited, the press went silent. No retractions, no corrections. The image had already done its job. The illusion was complete. And from that silence, one thing became crystal clear. The Meghan Markle brand wasn't about truth anymore. It was about optics. Paris wasn't her comeback. It was her latest illusion. Because this move, it wasn't new. Let's rewind to Meghan's famous British Vogue moment. Remember when the headline said, "The Duchess of Sussex guest edits Vogue"? It sounded so glamorous, until Vogue's editor, Edward Enninful, revealed how it really happened. According to him, Meghan called under the pretense of discussing charity work. She invited him to the palace to talk about smart works, a cause she supported. But once he arrived, she changed the conversation. Over tea and small talk, she dropped her real idea. What if I guest edit the next issue of Vogue? Imagine being in Edward's position, sitting in Kensington Palace across from a Duchess with royal charm and Hollywood ambition. Could he really say no? That's Meghan's style. She doesn't wait for doors to open. She opens them herself. And Paris was just another example of that. A self-made invitation, wrapped in couture and confidence. But what once worked in royal circles didn't play out the same way in the world of high fashion. Because this time, Meghan wasn't the Duchess under palace protection. She was Meghan Markle, financing her own fantasy. And soon, the cracks began to show. Balenciaga's creative director reportedly confirmed that Meghan had invited herself. The brand hadn't planned to feature her, seat her, or dress her. Still, they didn't want to cause a scene, so they let her come, on one condition. She'd have to cover her own expenses. No jet, no styling budget, no sponsorship. And yes, her outfit was loaned. If you look closely at the pictures, you'll notice it. The fit wasn't perfect. The sleeves hung too long, the waist sat a little high, because the dress wasn't made for her. Even her heels? Just one borrowed pair, to be returned after the event. For someone who once lived in palaces, that detail spoke volumes. Balenciaga once would have paid her to attend. Now, she was footing her own bill just to be seen. When the photos went viral, Balenciaga's PR reportedly went into panic mode. They hadn't invited her, but the world believed they had. Already facing backlash from their own scandals, the brand wanted no extra drama. So they quietly distanced themselves. And when Harry found out about how the trip was funded, insiders say it led to a huge argument. He was angry that money linked to their charities, especially Invictus, might have been used for what he saw as a vanity project. Words like irresponsible and reckless were allegedly thrown around. For Harry, who was still fighting for his own security back in the UK, it felt like betrayal. Because while Meghan was borrowing Balenciaga's bodyguards in Paris, he was in court trying to get protection for his family. To the world, they looked powerful and unstoppable. But behind the cameras, their image was unraveling, one scandal at a time. That Paris appearance became the symbol of everything wrong between them: money, image, and control. When Meghan walked into Paris, she wasn't just chasing fame, she was spending it. And as the lights dimmed, the woman who once said she didn't need a crown was showing just how much she missed the power it gave her. Paris wasn't just a destination, it was a statement. Because years ago, Meghan told friends that Paris was off limits, too painful for Harry, too connected to Princess Diana's tragedy. And yet, there she was. The city of lights, cameras flashing, Balenciaga banners waving. To many, it looked like defiance, a message wrapped in couture. Almost as if she was saying, I go where I want, when I want. But for Harry, it reportedly cut deep. Paris isn't just another city to him. It's the place that took his mother. And seeing his wife posing for cameras there felt like reopening an old wound. Some say it was Meghan's quiet form of revenge, a response to being sidelined at a charity event where Harry took the spotlight. Others think it was pure defiance, her way of proving that no crown, no royal rule could cage her fame. Whatever her reason, her message was heard loud and clear, both in Paris and back in royal circles. And when you look at it all, the story almost folds back on itself. There's a famous image of Princess Diana walking into a leprosy ward, removing her gloves, and taking the hand of a patient no one else would touch. In that single moment, she changed how the world viewed compassion and courage. Decades later, another woman, her son's wife, walked into Paris, not to comfort, but to be seen. It's not about who's better. It's about intention. One used fame to heal, the other used it to shine. And maybe that's why this story feels so haunting. Because Paris, the same city that took Diana, became the stage where Meghan tried to reignite her own relevance. And yet, even now, Meghan's story isn't over. She's still out there, rebranding, rebuilding, and reaching for the next spotlight. But this time, the world is watching differently. The crown she wanted doesn't glitter quite the same, and one question still lingers like perfume in the air. When the cameras fade, who is she really without them? Maybe that's the true legacy of Paris. Not a comeback, not a triumph, but a mirror. A mirror reflecting two women, two legacies, and one powerful truth. You can borrow the dress, you can buy the ticket, you can pose for the cameras. But legacy isn't something you can loan.